they have around, I would help them with their LinkedIn profiles and their LinkedIn strategy. And one of the big issues is that you are not allowed to advertise your services here. Is it the same in Canada? As a lawyer, are you allowed to market yourself?
There are specific rules for each jurisdiction. So I'm in Ontario. So there are specific rules around advertising. But I mean, on LinkedIn, I can still go onto LinkedIn and say I'm a lawyer. I do commercial contracts, but I haven't done anything beyond like LinkedIn paid advertisement or anything. And I don't know if that's allowed or not allowed. It's just I haven't had a need to do it. But each jurisdiction does have specific requirements around advertising.
Well, I mean, you don't need to do advertising on LinkedIn, actually, because it's more about, well, you know this anyway, Amy, but it's more about the way, the content and the value that you share on LinkedIn that actually brings you business. And I think that's working really well for you, isn't it?
It is. So before I went out on my own, I had a LinkedIn account, but I probably logged in maybe once a month. I never posted anything. I just had it there because I felt like I had to have something. And then when I went out on my own, I realized I need to put myself out there. Lawyers are on LinkedIn. And so that's when I've become really active. And it's been really fantastic for me, just from meeting other people, but also for my business as well. I've brought in a lot of money specifically through LinkedIn. And I just, I find it's just so gratifying to receive a LinkedIn message from someone I've never met before. And they say, I really love what you're doing. I'd love to learn more. I really enjoy the platform.
Yeah. I mean, this is it. I mean, what you just said there about before you went out on your own is really, so for people listening who are trying to win business from professionals and corporates on LinkedIn, and they're thinking, well, I'm posting every day and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Listen to what Amy just said. People in jobs are checking in on LinkedIn. Now, you said once a month. I think some people are getting a bit more frequent than that, but they're not on there every day. At best, they're on there once a week. And if you're consistent in the content you're putting out, but I would say like posting 2 to 3 times a week is plenty. It's not like people checking in on Instagram or Facebook every day. Definitely not. Now, if your target audience on LinkedIn are entrepreneurs and small business owners, they are on there more often. But if your target audience are working with people who are in, and I've got my hands in the air with maybe inverted commas, in jobs, they're not on there as much as we are. And it's something definitely to be aware of. But I'm like you, Amy. I just love getting. Yesterday, I got contacted by somebody asking, could I have a chat with her about LinkedIn training for a team of 10 people in their company. And it's a global company. It's the local office of the company. And I've never heard of her before. And you just don't get that anywhere else. And it's, it's going straight in and saying, we want to have a chat with you about coming to work with us. It's not following you for forever in the day and having to get on my email list and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly. Good for you, Louise.
Yeah.
I've read that people who are on LinkedIn are on there to do business. Like they're not on there for fun or to look at pretty pictures. Exactly. They're on there to do business. And so like you were saying, it moves it along so much faster. So this person, her first contact with you was reaching out to do business.
Exactly. I mean, why would you be on other platforms? Well, of course, you're on other platforms for different. That's a bit of a nonsense to say that people are on different platforms for different reasons.
But I do, Louise. I do get asked a lot from lawyers about the other platforms. So, which platforms should I be on? And my answer is always the same. Like, you really need to figure out where your ideal clients are. So, if your ideal clients are on Facebook, that's where you need to be, and that's where you need to focus your time. And so focus on that number one spot first and get that down and really understand it before you go on to the other platforms. And this is specifically for solo small firms. At the larger firms, you have the budget and the time, and you have a marketing department who can do this all for you. Yeah. So for me, it's all been LinkedIn all the time. And I do spend some time on the other platforms, but my main focus is LinkedIn because that's where I've seen the best return.
Yes, exactly. It's measuring what works and doing more of that. And local, because I would do a lot of local workshops and local training as well. And, if you're like a family law firm and you're dealing with people selling houses and domestic issues, et cetera, then you're probably better marketing a lot on Facebook, let's be honest. But LinkedIn for you and me, Amy, definitely is where it's at. So talk to me a little bit about the coaching and the masterminding that you have started doing.
Yeah, so that kind of sprung up through attending these online business events, and I would learn I had no idea what a mastermind was. Coaching, like I kind of had heard of coaching before, but I find in the online business space, these are just common things that people do. Like lots of people have coaches, they're in masterminds, they're doing all these things.
Yeah.
And from a big law firm perspective, I'd never heard of that before. And so it really opened up this new world. And so I was looking around, seeing all of these really great groups. There's groups for photographers, there's groups for female business owners in my area. But there wasn't anything for solo small firm lawyers. And I feel like when we're working on our own, we are getting questions that we need to think through them. Sometimes we need to talk through them with a colleague. And there wasn't a space for people to do that I could find. So I created a Facebook group because I really wanted to have it on LinkedIn, but unfortunately LinkedIn groups are just not where they need to be.
No.
No comment on those. But so I created this Facebook group, and it's geared towards Canadian female solo small firm lawyers. And in that group, we're just asking questions, we're supporting one another, we're building a community. And through that group, I had a lot of people asking me questions about how to market their business, how to sell, how to even set up. So they're thinking about going solo, but they're super overwhelmed by all of the steps.
Yes.
And so that got me thinking, there's a way that I can help more people do this. So my group is a free group, and every Monday we have 1 hour training. So I might speak or I might bring in a guest to speak. So I offer that in the group. And then there are paid programs where I can work one-on-one and help a lawyer, or group mastermind programs. And you actually spoke at one of my masterminds just a few weeks ago and teaching them about LinkedIn and best tips. And that was great. So I bring in guests to the mastermind as well.
And how many people are in your free group?
We're getting close to 400 people now, and I started it. It's been less than a year, so it's slowly starting to gain momentum.
That's fantastic. But isn't it interesting that you started it out for kind of a place for these female Canadian lawyers to kind of bounce ideas off each other and ask for help with questions that work, and it turned, and then now they're all going, oh, hold on a minute, Amy, we want to know more about how you're doing this. And now they're asking you for really more like business advice, would you say?
Yeah. It's so interesting, all these different paths that you can take and where things lead. Because if you had asked me 5 years ago, first, I never would have thought I would have gone solo. And then for someone to tell me, like, I would also run a group for lawyers, I would have thought you were absolutely joking. So it's just so interesting how things change.
Yeah.
And that's why when you see an opportunity, sometimes you're not sure, but if you go for it, you never know what's going to come of it.
Oh, you never know. I just grasp life with both hands, I think.
Yes.
See what happens. I mean, I'm probably a little bit guilty of doing that a little bit too much. Like, I'm looking at my whiteboard at the minute, and I've got 4 webinars coming up in June, and they're such a mixed bag. It's hilarious. One of them is for women in film and TV.
Wow.
Yeah, one is for a women in business group. One of them is for a UK-wide marketing, a year-long marketing group, and another one is for a group program. But I love that. I love that diversity, and that keeps me interested. And I love meeting new people. I mean, when you said about your group, I thought, yeah, of course I would. I want to come and meet some amazing female lawyers from Canada. Who wouldn't? And then they're connected to me now. We're connected on LinkedIn. It's really cool. Like I got a message from one of them the other day, and probably from what I taught them as well. Commenting on other people's stuff on LinkedIn really helps them. So they do that now and again too, which is great.
It is great. And that's what I've noticed from LinkedIn too, is I will connect with someone who I don't necessarily know, but you learn so much about them. And it's, if I start engaging with their posts, they often will do the same for me as well. But I have met so many really interesting people through LinkedIn, which I think is just this great plus side to LinkedIn.
Yes, actually, it brings me around to something I've seen recently. There's a Facebook group I'm in of some female Irish entrepreneurs, and they were giving LinkedIn a bit of a bashing yesterday. And I was saying, no, that's not my experience at all. And they thought it's stuffy, it's boring, it's people sending them sales messages all the time, and what I want to say to them is, that's because you've literally built up a network of people that you don't want to be connected to. You have to be diplomatic with people too. And I said, come and join one of my 5-day challenges, and I can hopefully change your mind on that. And then other people have said, oh, it's so nasty and mean on LinkedIn. And I'm like, well, if you've got somebody in your network and all you think is it's all negative and mean, just get those people out of your network. I mean, that is just not my experience of LinkedIn. I remember last year saying something along those lines, and this guy just tore into me saying, oh, well, you're being really naive if you think that, da, 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 da. And I'm like, well, actually, I stand over that still. I mean, if someone starts being negative or rude, just disconnect from them. Create the network that you want on a platform. And if if somebody else is posting, you're commenting on it, and people start being negative on that post, then just stay away from that kind of stuff. You find it a pretty positive place, don't you, Amy?
I do. I find it a very positive place. And I think the reason you and I might have a more positive experience, and I'm presuming you do this as well, is that I don't accept everyone who sends me a request. I want to create a really an audience that I can engage with, that understands my activity. So I have a ton of lawyers in my network, and often I'll get requests from real estate agents or marketers or different people. And I may accept them if I see some type of connection or if they put a message. But if it's just some totally random person from a different part of the world and I don't see the connection there, then I don't connect with them, because I want to build a network that's really engaged, that understands what I'm talking about, people that I can get to know.
Yes.
And also, I find when people don't include a message in their request, I have more work to do, because then I have to read through their profile and figure out who they are and everything else.
Yes, and why are they connecting with me?
So that kind of turns me off a little bit.
Yeah,
so I appreciate when people put a little message or a reminder, I met you here, things like that. But I don't accept everyone, and I also don't send out requests to everyone under the sun.
No, I've actually realized that I send very few connection requests to people. I was thinking about that this morning. Well, it's not that I rarely do. My network is big enough now, and I get connection requests most days, and I filter through them. But I don't tend to proactively go out to find new people in my network. But then I've got nearly 4,000, 3,900 connections, and then a couple more hundred people who follow me who are not actually I'm